All right, in this video I'm going to cover the technique for the overhead squat. Now with the overhead squat, you're going to grab the bar in what we call the snatch grip. The snatch grip is approximately the width where the bar will land as you're standing up. The bar will sit in the crook of your hip. Okay, or you can look here, the bar should be about 6 inches over my head, somewhere in that range. Okay, you can play with the grip a little bit. The wider you go, the more pressure on the wrist. The more narrow you go, the more pressure on the shoulders. So one of the things with the overhead squat is you need good mobility. You need not only good hip mobility, good ankle mobility, but especially, I think, good shoulder mobility. Because you really got to get the shoulders back as you squat down. So let's go over the technique and we'll talk about some of those pointers. So you can either snatch the bar up or you can take it off a rack and then push press it up, okay? But once you have it in this overhead squat position, you want the feet about, I like shoulder width apart, okay? Anywhere between hip, shoulder width apart. Again, you can play with that distance. I like about shoulder width apart. Really what it's supposed to be is the distance that you catch a snatch in if you do Olympic lifting. If not, you find the position that's most comfortable for you, okay? What you want to do with your arms, you want to internally rotate so that the armpits are facing forward and down, and you lift. You shrug the shoulders a little bit, and that locks up the scapula, the shoulder blade, or the shoulder blades, right? And it keeps the bar nice and steady overhead, okay? Another thing you want to do, well, actually I'll show everything from the front first. When I squat down, I want my butt dropping straight between my knees or my legs, okay? And so as I drop down, I drop straight down, chest stays as vertical as possible. It's going to tilt forward a little bit, okay? The hip crease is going to pass the knee just like we do with any squat. The feet stay flat, the knees shove out so that the knees are tracking with the feet. We don't want the knees inside the big toe, otherwise it causes a lot of pressure on the ACL. So those are some components there. If we look from the side, okay, the bar should be, well, I should say our arms are vertical with the ceiling and floor. Okay, so we make a nice straight line so the arms are behind the ears. Again, you're internally rotated and lifted. And let's look at it from that position. Okay, so as we do our overhead squat, we lift, armpits down and forward, drop straight down, knees out, feet flat, and we do our overhead squat. Always keep the back flat. This is any movement. Keep the back nice and flat, okay? You want to keep your chest as high as possible, but again, depending on the mobility in your hips, the mobility in your ankles, the dorsiflexion, which is when you point your toe towards your nose, all of those things play a factor in how deep you can get and how much it's going to cant or tilt you forward when you go down into the squat. The less mobility you have in your hips and ankles, the more you're going to need for your shoulders, because you're going to cant your torso forward more, and then you're going to have to reach back further to keep your arm in that vertical plane line. If the arm comes forward, not only does it put a lot of pressure on the shoulder, most likely you're going to lose the weight forward. So these are some technique components for the overhead squat. The overhead squat is great for developing strength under the bar for things like the snatch. It's also just a good accessory exercise in general. If you have any questions, post them to YouTube. Stay strong. I'll see you next time.